Morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Coffee Talk Tuesday. I don't know why I'm singing this morning, but I hope you all had a great start to your week yesterday. Happy Tuesday. And today we are talking about some changes to the Facebook ad targeting. So, those of you who run Facebook ad campaigns, those of you who are going to be running them for the holiday season, definitely things that you're going to want to know. So, good morning. Hello, Dr. Sean. Hello, Ray. What's going on? I hope everything's good over there in sunny California. Hello, everyone. Thanks for stopping in. Make sure that you say hi when you get here. And we are going to jump into things in a second. I made some really phenomenal coffee this morning. That's all I got to say. Maybe that's why I'm singing, because I'm wired. All right. So, for those of you who are just joining us today, we are talking about Facebook ad campaigns. So that is the paid aspect of Facebook and Instagram. And what you can do if you haven't run a Facebook ad campaign before, you're looking into it, there are certain ways that you can target people. It's called detailed targeting, essentially. So it has to do with behaviors, it has to do with relationship status, education, interests, things like that. So when we talk about when people are online, so all of these social media platforms are essentially data collection agencies, right? And there were some issues, obviously, with the iOS update with the amount of targeting that people are going to be able to do via their Facebook ad campaigns, because it does give you the opportunity as an Apple user to opt out of asking a lot of your apps not to track your data. And that's something that that's something that Facebook uses in order to make sure that your ads are being served to the proper people. Now, with that being said, that does not wipe out, all of the data that they have on you from the beginning of time, from whenever you created your Facebook page. So, with that being said, a lot of people were like, do you think Facebook ads are going to work anymore? So on and so forth. The fact of the matter is, I know I have had my Facebook profile for well over 10 years. We'll just say that. I don't need to date myself or age myself, I should say. But I've had my Facebook profile for quite some time. So they have quite a bit of data on me about my likes, my dislikes, and things like that. So with that being said, I do think that Facebook ads are still effective. I think that they're very effective when it comes to products, shopping, and especially for the holiday season. What better than to serve people ads where they're spending most of their time, right? But they did make some alterations. Not sure how much this is going to affect a ton of people, although there are some restrictions that may affect somebody who is looking to maybe crowdfund or fundraise or things like that. So, always like to keep you in the know. It's Coffee Talk Tuesday. Make sure that you're sharing this with your friends. Tell them to hop on, or if you're watching the replay, share it to your story or to your page, because you never know who may need to know this information, right? Okay, so let's dive into it. So Facebook is removing certain detailed targeting, and it's starting January 19th, 2022. So we are going to be able to get through the holiday season. It is not going to come into effect until the new year. And plus, you still have about halfway through the first month. So until the 19th of January, you are not going to be affected by these different detailed targeting that they are actually removing. So the options that they're removing are targeted options that relate to topics that people will perceive as sensitive. So we're talking about sexual orientation. If someone references certain causes or organizations or political affiliations that could be deemed sensitive, religious or affiliations, anything that has to do with health, race, ethnicity, things along those lines, public figures, they're actually removing the ability to target in those senses. And it's interesting because you would think that there are certain topics that would actually be great for people to use as a targeting, whether it's, let's say, promoting a hotline for a certain organization or cause or things like that. You would think that those are actually great things for people to use to be able to bring their community together and serve them the ads and properly and get them, whatever message they need to get out there. But unfortunately, Facebook did consult um, some outside sources, and they said that these targeting aspects can actually be used in a detrimental way more than a helpful way. Oh, this is fun. Good morning from Colorado, Kimberly. Hey, I haven't seen the new live chat feature, so that's fun. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, just check that out. Awesome. Let me know where you're coming in from. Awesome. So there are certain health causes such as lung cancer awareness, World Diabetes Day, chemotherapy that you are not going to be able to target anymore, sexual orientation like same-sex marriage, LGBT culture, religious practices and groups like the Catholic Church or Jewish holidays, and political beliefs, social issues, causes, organizations, and figures. So, like I said, you would hope that humanity would use these things for the good, as in maybe having a hotline or driving awareness about things like lung cancer, any of the other cancers that we would love to support. But unfortunately, they did find that a lot of the people or that they were being used for harm. So anybody who is in with this region and you are running ad campaigns, things are going to get a little difficult. So not only can you not add detailed targeting, but I'm going to imagine that those are going to have certain keywords that are going to get flagged and put into Facebook's community guidelines that you cannot use within your ad campaigns. They have not come out and said yet if they're going to do special categories for certain things. Like, let's say maybe you are fundraising for World Diabetes Day or lung cancer awareness or things like that. They haven't gone into that, just like you can get special targeting options for if you're running anything that has to do with credit or political affiliation and their employment and housing. So those are the 4 current options for special categories. So they haven't come out and said if they are going to make a special category for these certain things. And to run ads on special categories, you do have to jump through a couple hoops. You do have to get verified and make sure that and basically prove that you are who you say you are and that you are fully aware of their community guidelines and you agree to go along with them. So things are going to get a little difficult for those of you who fall into those sectors and are running ad campaigns, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is impossible. There definitely are ways around it, and we're happy to help brainstorm with you and walk through those with you if you want to reach out to us in our DMs. But starting January 19th, they will take that away. A quote from Facebook says, "It is important to note that the interest targeting options we are removing are not based on people's physical characteristics or personal attributes, but instead on things like people's interactions with content on our platform." So what they're saying is basically they're not going to go through all of your photos to see if you have certain sexual orientations, religious beliefs, political affiliations, and things like that. So they're not going after your looks. They're going after the things that you interact with. For instance, I am a supporter of anybody who is in the same-sex marriage space, anybody who is in the LGBTQ community. So I have interacted with posts of that nature before. I do identify as a certain orientation there we go. Sorry, Instagram pause. I do identify as a certain orientation on Facebook, so they will identify that on my Instagram profile. But like I said, I do interact with those different communities. So if they were to run an ad campaign, I could be potentially within the scope of people who see that as a supporter. So with that being said, like, they're not going to go through and look at your physical attributes or any of your photos that you're putting up, any of the facial recognition software that they're doing. They're not going to go through all that. What they're going to do is judge based on the content that you interact with. So back to the quote from Facebook, they did say, so I'm just going to reiterate that. that they are removing, not based on people's physical characteristics or personal attributes, but instead on things like people's interaction with content on our platform. However, we've heard concerns from experts that targeting options like these could be used in ways that lead to negative experiences for people in underrepresented groups. So super interesting. You do have until January 19th, 2022 to continue to run your ads within these categories. But until then, things are going to get slightly more difficult. You are going to maybe have to switch up your messaging or your brand strategy on how you're going to develop that message. But essentially, what Facebook has said is that they are doing this not necessarily to stop you from reaching the people who are within your community, but to stop bad actors and harmful people who are trying to reach those communities in a negative way. So I hope that this was helpful. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the new ad detailed targeting that they are removing. Do you think it's a good thing that they are going to remove these certain targeting options? Or do you believe that it's actually going to be detrimental to those who have a great message and want to put it out there? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. So make sure to drop them in the comments below and make sure to share this out with your friends. So that was another episode of Coffee Talk Tuesday here at Stark Media Group. Thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure to tune in next week. Thanks so much, and I hope you all have a fantastic week. Bye, guys.